Hello everyone, and welcome back to European Pro League Division 2. My name is Redel, and I'll be your host and commentator for today for these two best of threes we have that will be rounding off the first round of matches in Group D, and finally the entire round of those first matches, first best of threes, and coming into this one, Northern Lights versus Heroic Academy. Denzo already the last man alive, 20 seconds into the round. It's a double kill for both Frank and Snow, and already the end of the round, they didn't even get to get the intro off, essentially. And they already managed to end off the first round incredibly quickly. For the side of Northern Lions, we have Excellent, Frank, Snow, Viz, and Zippy. Actually, Zippy is their coach, if I'm not mistaken, so that is him standing in for somebody currently on the side of Northern Lights. I believe it's for Cham. So he's out, the coach is in, and for the side of Heroic Academy, it's Amber, Stom 4K, Denzo, Scrob, and FNL. Heroic Academy, after losing Pistol, not investing a single penny into this round, and well, they're going to be running into Viz. He's actually going to have a bit of a tough time there, a bit of team damage done as well. Now it's Excellent there with his own M4, or rather his MP9 M4 in the hands of Snow, and they're going to clean it up, no problem. A 2-0 lead for the Northern Lions, but I mean, that was to kind of be expected, considering that Heroic Academy did not want to force at all after losing Pistol. A quick tactical pause actually by the Northern Lights. Right ahead of the first full buy. Why not, essentially? If you have 4, you might as well use them. 2 Galils in the hands of Heroic Academy players as well. And a good chunk of utility to go alongside it with it. And 3 MP9s still remain in the hands of Northern Light players, so with this 4-man B stack, I mean, they've read the beginning of this round perfectly. 3 players going to be pushing out of cave. Scrub does manage to find one, Dengzo as well, and well, it has backfired completely. For the Northern Lights, we see the rotation being made by Frank and Snow. Both of them going to be going over towards B. Frank nearly connecting on the spray transfer. Does tag up Scrub pretty heavily. Dengzo is a bullet away from that. He's going to have to take care of to the end of this round, if he even makes it to the end of the round, which I don't think he will. He gets swung on by Samsi, and Stomach is there to trade FNL as well, leaving just Frank in the 1v4, and he's already been spotted out, although FNL couldn't really react in time. Now it's Amber, Scrub, and Stom. And the 3v1 Frank really shouldn't be even given a chance. Though Stom is here in an aggressive position with just 14 HP. He could go down quickly if he's not careful, but Frank has already opted for the save. Really no reason in attempting this. You're just going to be throwing your gun away anyway. Might as well save it for the next round. That will give Heroic Academy their first. Off of a very chaotic round towards B. It was a good read by Northern Lights to essentially 4-man stack B. Unfortunately for them, well, they just simply got out-aimed. Frank. My goodness, Amber. Insta headshot, and he's also going to get the AK. So that's 3 AK saved for the side of Heroic Academy. Very good for their economy, if they want to get that ball rolling and save up a bunch of money, especially on the T side. I mean, you win a few rounds in a row and you're already rolling in cash. But speaking of money, Northern Lights will be reset if they lose this round. And their economy is already looking pretty weak. 3 M4s, a 5.7, and an MP9. An okay-ish amount of utility. Nothing to write home about, really, and Viz immediately taking the initiative on mid. This is a good position to be in, but I'm not sure if it's the best one for an MP9. Yes, if Heroic Academy players do come from heaven, it would have been good. He does decide to peek it, and Viz just immediately goes down. Stom With 5v4 in the favor of Heroic Academy, they can slow down their tempo a little bit. It's a minute 15 on the clock. Remaining for them, a missed Red Room smoke. No. Frank does find one with the 5-7 towards Cave. I don't think he's going to be able to get to the gun. He's going to get to a double kill, and he's also picked up the AK. It's a one-shot to the head. Frank, I can't believe it. He picks up the triple kill, leaves just Amber and Scrob. In the 2v4, luckily, finally, he gets traded out. Amber and Scrub do have 6 nades between them. It's only a molly for Excellent. 45 seconds on the clock. Heroic Academy, they can choose to go somewhere else, but they still want to seemingly force it into B. Flash is coming out. Saipe was close to actually getting that kill. They know there's 2 players over here. The bomb will be getting planted. Excellent. Too far away to do anything with that Molotov. He's actually in Cave. Not the best position for that flanking player to be in if he has utility. But Scrub is the last man alive. 1v3. It's a difficult position to be in. He does connect to the spray transfer out with the Glock, but simply not enough bullets in that AK. The Glock, I don't think, would have made much of a difference. Excellent does have a helmet, but that was a great attempt by Scrub. Managed to get 2 kills out of it. If anything, damaged the economy of Northern Lights. Taking away 3 players from them. I mean, I can't believe Frank actually managed to get... I mean, even that second kill doesn't feel likely. And then getting the 3rd one with the AK? That was absolutely crazy by Frank. A phenomenal round from him. Attack pause by Heroic Academy. Amber has disconnected from the server, so we might be looking at a technical pause. Unfortunately. Hopefully that gets resolved quickly. But so far, Northern Lights have been hitting their shots, and I'm still shocked how Frank gets away with 3 in that situation. It was close in the end. Scrub managed to make it a 1v1, unfortunately for him. That AK was not fully reloaded before that 1v3 began. And you don't want to reload in the midst of a clutch, especially when you know exactly where you are. Luckily for Heroic Academy, it does seem like they're going to be getting at least a hero AK off, but Denzo has enough money. I mean, everybody have enough money to buy an AK and armor, except for Amber. He's probably going to be going onto a Mac-10, a pistol, a Galil. But utility will be lacking for sure if they do opt for rifles. Stom, only the real player with enough money to actually full buy in this round. Unfortunately, it does seem like we're going to be stuck here for a little bit. In case you haven't been looking at the heads-up display on the top left, Ancient Map 1 picked by the Northern Lights. Map 2 is Nuke, the pick of Heroic Academy, and Mirage as a decider if we do end up needing it. And the team with their coach standing in. So far looking pretty good on their own map pick. This roster of Heroic Academy has only been around for about a month. They performed in early April, I believe. Like the first week of April, something like April 3rd or 4th. And surprisingly, I mean, a heroic roster don't have 5 Danish people in it. With FNL being Romanian and Stom. I'm not sure if it's Stomach or Stom 4K, but somebody will correct me on that in chat, I'm sure, of being Ukrainian. On the other side, the Northern Lights. I believe I can't even pull the roster from HLTV, so I'll have to use Wikipedia, but to me, these are not familiar players. Not sure how long they've been in this roster, or rather, these 5 players or 4 players in this situation, plus their coach specifically. How long they've been in this iteration of Northern Lights roster. But they seem to be playing pretty coherent Counter-Strike so far. Unfortunately, this does feel like one of those technical pauses where you have about 5 or 10 more minutes before I start losing my mind and start speaking nonsense. I'd like to check with the director if maybe there's some information on what has happened with Amber. I mean, this is looking like a internet or power outage mostly. I don't believe Counter-Strike can crash that hard, although I wouldn't be surprised if it could crash that hard to the point that you can't reconnect for 10 to 15 minutes. You have to restart PC, and all those other things that go along with it. God forbid you're running your Windows on a hard disk. Takes a year to boot up. But let's go a bit off topic. Has Faceit been, like, recently more toxic than usual for you guys? I'm not even sure if you guys play much Faceit, but like, it feels like in every single game, in maybe even both teams, but at least in one, because usually you have one that's losing and then well, their mentals aren't very good. It feels like somebody just goes in with the intention to troll, with like, oh, I've lost 5 games in a row, I might as well make it everyone else's problem. Which is a bit sad to see. Oh, you haven't seen people, well, you probably have. Not even giving up after pistol. I'm talking about giving up in the lobby. For example, it's 4 maps. Let's say it's Train, Anubis, Mirage, and Inferno. Somebody says, oh, go minus Mirage. Like the single solo player in the team, and then everybody else are duo, and one of those duos gets captain. And then they end up playing Mirage. Okay, I go troll. What is the point of even playing Faceit if you're gonna troll? I mean, unfortunate, it's a low IQ moment for those people, for sure. As toxic as that sounds, that's 100% the truth. Luckily for us, Amber is back on the server, so our Faceit stories will have to take a backseat for now. But hopefully we don't see many more of these, because it will not be good if the entire day is elongated with tech pauses. Luckily, the freeze time is already underway, so we're going to be back. Yeah, it seems that Zype is standing in for the side of the Northern Lights instead of Cham. And the Antwerp Academy did manage to hobble together a full buy. It's not pretty to look at. It has 2 Galils and a Mac-10 in it, but at least that Mac-10 being put to good use. Amber, he was out of the server for a few minutes, and now he's already been given a Mac-10 and sent in first on a suicide mission, although not looking like suicide if it's only excellent towards the A-bomb site. He's already getting flanked from main. You believe they're trying to boost the player up, and well, that's horrendous movement by somebody over towards main. I do think it was FNL missing the jump, and then he walks right in front of Dengzo, and they both get lined up by Excellent. Luckily, Amber was there for the trade, but I feel like it's a bit too late. The damage has already been done. Stom is lurking over on the other side of the universe, essentially, over towards heaven. The bomb will be making the rotation back. Let's see if it's going to be through mid or through T-spawn. We do see Frank already going back to B. He's probably going to be joined by Zype. Snow in red room. This is an angle that can stay unchecked. When you forget about it in Amber, I feel like, yeah, I'm sure that Snow. Lacking a little bit of trigger discipline. Still, it's +1 in the favor of Northern Lights, but there's, again, just one player on A. It's Viz, who's over close to main. He goes down to Scrob. That makes this a 2v2 where the retake is looking highly unlikely. Look at the position that Stom has. Frank wants to walk right through the smoke, gets blindsided by Stomach, and, well, he wants to swing back out into mid. So much damage onto Zype, leaving him on 19 HP. I do think the best call for the coach of Northern Lights is probably to save, but Zype wants to attempt this. Looking out through main. He does not have a kit, only 8 bullets in his FAMAS. Hell, I'm not even sure if that's enough to kill these two players unless he hits some headshots. Let's see, maybe there's a rifle here towards main now. It's a Galil. Hell, I'd say that's better than a FAMAS, at least in my eyes. Might as well get away with it, and I do think he picked up a kit along the way. Or he might have had it the whole time and I'm a little bit blind. And the bomb does have a big radius here, but, well, Stomach finds that out the hard way. Not Scrob. Once again, a lot of pressure towards B from both sides. Northern Lights, not exactly with 5, but with 4 players. Again, it's the same call that we saw backfire for them, but this time it's a 2-for-1 in their favor, and a 3-for-1, with Viz picking up 2 on the MP9. That just leaves Amber and Scrob. 2v3, not an impossible situation. The bomb is dropped in the midst of that chaos. And with Amber fighting this trade, it's 2 versus 2, equal number of men for both sides. Amber gonna walk through the fire and flames, smoke at the bomb site, and look at Scrob swinging straight into Snow. And with them knowing that Viz was down there towards B, yeah, him giving his position away with that utility and spray, all they can do is run over towards A. Viz gonna pick up the kit. He does have a smoke in hand and already is on a double kill. Gonna need the 4K if he wants to win the round. Just an 8% chance given. The AI prediction here for Viz, down to 59 HP. It's not looking great for Victor. The bomb is planted in the middle of the bomb site. He could actually get the smoke on top of it. Unfortunately for him, he has no idea where these other players are. And I do think it's maybe a bit too far to the right. They should force Amber and Scrob into peeking. And they're gonna bust up in the smoke with an aid, and yeah, Viz is dead. Unfortunate for him that they had that piece of utility saved up, but I feel like both of them spamming. I mean, 60 bullets through a smoke from an AK, I don't think you're surviving that, no matter how lucky you are. Good job done by Heroic in these last few rounds to even up the scoreline from 3-1 to 3-3. Also, breaking the economy of Northern Lights. They will have a full buy in the next round, but it's not going to be perfect. It's 1900 plus 2400. Which means they're going to be lacking either weaponry or utility. They're going to have all M4s are not going to have much nades, and, you know, vice versa. They're not going to have M4s if they want that utility. And we've seen how much that utility means here on Ancient. All those insta-smokes that you can possibly throw, and obviously taking banana control over towards B. If you want to take it, you're going to need to dump a bunch of Molotov nades and whatever the hell not down there. At minimum, you need 1 smoke and a few flashes, but you would really have to shoot well to pull that off. Or if Heroic Academy decide to give them respect. If they throw the deep door smoke over on B. But that's all a bunch of what's and ifs. In the meantime, it's, I mean, a full eco around Northern Lights. Shouldn't really have much of a chance here. There is, well, there were 2 Deagles in play. Now it's just 1 left for Zype. Well, let's see if the coach can do anything from the A bomb site. I mean, All he can do is potentially get a single kill. Dango is pretty tagged up. He's gonna go down to Zypin, but yeah, trade immediately comes in. Not really much to be done in that situation. Hell, I don't think he would have had even enough time to kill everyone. Even if he hit those 2 shots. That gives Heroic Academy, I believe, their first lead of the game. 4-3. 4 M4s and a single MP9 for Frank. On the side of the Northern Lights, a decent amount of utility. 2 nades on average per player. This is stuck over towards jungle, or Kenyas, depending on how you call it. And Amber, he wants to walk up close. Viz just speaks into him, completely surprises him. Easy kill for Viz. The Northern Lights do have the advantage, but once again, it's just a single player over towards A, which obviously is the default here for this map, but that just allows these players to come out all willy-nilly into the bomb site. You do really want to play retake when you have a player extra, but not anymore. Stomach finds a kill onto Frank. Make it a 4v4. And they know he's in the lurk. They have to care about the flank. And FNL is already over towards CT, but found the kill on one of these players. FNL, those are 2 amazing headshots. That's the advantage once again on the side of Heroic Academy. Viz would be forced back with that Molotov, so is Snow. And through the smoke, or I think the smoke was actually fading, Scrub finds a kill with the op. That just leaves Snow completely alone. In the 1v3, and I do believe that this is another save. So Heroic Academy will be extending their lead to 2 rounds. Let's just see if Snow can even get away with this weapon. He's not going to be able to stand here all day, because that bomb is going to blow him to pieces. Snow, nope. He stays uncleared. FNL going to be kicking himself over that one. That's an AK. For Snow to save. 3 players lost on the side of Heroic Academy. If anything, that's going to hinder their economy. But for Snow, the only thing that matters here is saving that AK. Because it's probably going to be the only rifle they're going to have in this round. But they do have max loss bonus, having lost their last 4 rounds in a row from 3-1 to 3-5. It's not looking good for the Swedish boys playing with their coach right now. But they can still turn it around. This is their own map pick. FNL being up close and personal. There's 4 players over towards B, and playing close angles against SMGs and pistols can't really end well unless you have cover from Scrub. And now they're just gonna keep going forward, but Frank has already dropped the bomb into the bomb site. Stom is low, and this MP9 is absolutely gonna eat. Oh, Stom nearly goes down to Frank's MP9, but Frank once again causing so much trouble towards the B bomb site. A triple kill once again for Frank. That just leaves Amber 1v3, and now they know where he is. And they can perfectly set up for this. I mean, the smoke thrown as well. Luckily for Amber, he has more than enough time. Over a minute left on the clock. But a very difficult clutch here in front of Andreas Brandt. Stacked up by the nade. Any damage here could be detrimental to the way this round plays out. Softening him up for the 2 AKs. Down to 83. With Frank having an op, this is even less likely for Amber. Although I feel like in a 1v3 you would want one of them to have an op, right? I mean, if you get the first kill, God forbid the op misses a shot, but with the volley on ramp, that's just cutting even more time off the clock. I mean, the last time we looked at it, it was a minute something, now it's 20 seconds, so Amber really has to hurry up, and well, he doesn't really have enough time to clear all the potential angles these Swedes could be in. It's Amber here, nearly connecting to the spray transfer, but 10 seconds left. They really shouldn't be giving him these duels. 6 seconds on the clock, 5 seconds now. Excellent on 72 HP, and Amber nearly connected that headshot. Oh man, the Northern Lights really giving up a lot of guns. The 3v1, I'd say it's not played well. You really shouldn't be losing more than 1 player in a situation like this. But hey, they won the round. They started off with pistols and SMGs. They had just 1 rifle, so they still have a bunch of money because they didn't invest that much. Although they're going to be cutting their loss bonus in half. Heroic Academy will call their timeout. Their first one, I believe, of the map. Dodo seeing something he doesn't like. And yes, it is the former Finnish player, back from the days of, you know, now it's about half a decade ago, Ens, Pavu, and all the other Finnish rosters you could possibly think of. Dodo was probably a part of them at one point. And now he has betrayed his home country and has gone to coach the Danish Academy roster. Speaking of them, Dengzo somehow finds that first kill onto Frank. I have no idea how Frank could win that duel. It felt like he was looking right at him, but I do think it was some Molotov smoke shenanigans. Went in front of him in the middle of the screen, and Viz wants to be aggressive. They know they have to make a play with a player less than heroic. And oh, the thing connects, but not the follow-up. Viz, he did manage to get that dink off, and now excellent. He can do a good job with the 5-7, a double kill with a snapping turtle. That leaves Dengzo and Amber. In the 2v3, they know that Dengzo is heavily tagged up from that previous duel with Frank. Excellent, looking for the 4K, the Tech 9, and not gonna be enough. That's 4 kills for Excellent, leaving just Amber once again in the 1v3. Luckily, this time he does have the bomb on his back, has a smoke in hand. It might not even be a bad idea to go all the way through CT in a situation like this, but you can see Zype turning around back towards the bomb site. So they should be aware of the fact that this is a possibility. And with Snow having an angle over towards the A site, unfortunately, with Excellent going back from mid into heaven, there is a chance for that timing to happen on mid as well, so Excellent and Snow have to keep looking back and forth, and Amber has been spotted out, but he does have enough time to plant the bomb. Luckily for him, it wasn't Excellent over in Donut, because he did have the molly that would have done either tremendous damage or straight up ended the round right there and then. Excellent also won for the ace, 12-5, the top fragger currently for the Northern Lights. Amber deep towards CT, the molly thrown, they're on top of the bomb. But Amber does have an angle to potentially hinder this defuse, the flash thrown as well. He's gonna absolutely eat it, although he does connect. But the bomb, even without the kit, will have enough time to be defused. Excellent picks up the ace, and Northern Lights pick up their 5th round. Once again, we're all tied up between the Swedes and the Danes. But Excellent playing a phenomenal map so far. Heroic Academy do have enough money to... I wouldn't say that's enough. I mean, wait, why are they... Well, I know why they're forcing. They killed 3 people. But usually with 2400 loss bonus and the money that they did have, you'd just stick to potentially just half buying at best. With a few upgraded pistols. Maybe a Mac 10 or 2. But they want to commit. They know that the economy on the side of the Swedes is close to breaking. That's a phenomenal nade. I believe thrown by the coach. But that's not going to deter Heroic Academy from coming into this B-bomb site, although that M4 will Zype picking up 2. But 2 are traded right back. Storm and Amber with the 2 kills. Utility thrown towards default, but it's Storm to find another one. To give Heroic the man advantage. That's a 3K for the Ukrainian, leaving just Viz with a 1v3. I feel like a lot of 1v3s have happened here in the last few rounds. Obviously, not a single one of them has actually been won by that single player. And Viz does not have a kit that essentially halves his chances at potentially winning this round. Viz only going to find 1. Hell, he even ran out of bullets in the A4. That's how rough it was. Heroic Academy going to be up to 6 rounds of the board, so if anything, this is at least going to be a completely even half at the end if they do end up losing this round. But that's a phenomenal call by Heroic Academy to actually go through with the force and, well, sort of reset Northern Lights. 2 M4s, a 5.7 and 2 MP9s, next to no utility. They have 2 mollies and 3 smokes remaining, as opposed to the full utility that Heroic Academy have. Zype does hear a few sound cues on that Molotov Storm as well, losing about 40 HP, and Zype, he wants to be aggressive. MP9, he can catch the timing here, FNL nade in hand, and Zype gets the kill. Immediately, Zype is going to switch back to the AK. Stom did manage to find one onto Frank. And this nade was almost perfect on the Stom. Snow on the bomb side doing a lot of damage to Dengzo, but he's somehow still alive. And Zype does go down in the meantime, but a lot of damage done onto the Northern Lights players. And one of them that just went down was Amber, who was full HP. That means Stom and Dengzo, who have 13 HP combined, they're going to get collateraled by a 5-7. When's the last time you've seen a 5-7 get a collab? Just like that, and excellent Snow. The two remaining players here up against Scrub. Scrub looking to give Heroic the lead at the half. Northern Lights looking to make it 6. And one of the players alive here is Excellent. He's been playing a phenomenal half so far. Scrub on a double kill, gonna need the 4K. If he wants Heroic Academy to be up to 7. Luckily for him, Excellent and Snow have the wrong read currently. They're over on the A-bomb site. Scrub. Unless he's afraid of ghosts here on the B-bomb site. He can plant the bomb anytime now. Of course, he doesn't know what we know. We could go on yapping about Scrub planting the bomb, but he really has to clear all these angles. Keep smoke towards CT. And what are the chances Scrub actually goes into that smoke? Oh, Scrub, is he gonna do it? He's up close and personal in that smoke on CT. Unfortunately for him, nobody's gonna be coming from CT, so now his position, I mean, essentially has a beam, a beacon on top of it. Hey guys, I planted for CT, guess where I am? Nearly a 50-50 round, and well, with the smoke falling onto short, it's gonna be unfortunate for Scrub. Right through the smoke, he gets nailed in the face by Snow, who picks up a double kill of his own alongside Viz's double kill. And round number 6 on the board for the Northern Lights, unless Excellent decides to let go of the defuse, which would be horrible. But it's 6-6 at the half. And in the past few months, I've seen a lot of teams actually struggle a bit on the CT side. But considering this is the pick of the Swedes, I wouldn't really bet on them having a weaker CT side. With the second half getting underway here, I gotta find... Where the hell did I put my coin that I always toss when we're doing these second half... Oh, there it is. Hold on. Let's give heads to Heroic. And it's gonna land on heads. It landed a bit wonky because it fell on my mouse pad, but it's good enough for me. I swear to God, this coin flip is never a 50-50. Northern Lights setting up a take towards B. 3 players on the side of Heroic Academy are defending that B bomb site. Molly's smoke's coming in. Oh, they missed the Molly for sight. Yeah, Amber. Well, he got curious, and curiosity just killed the Dane. Not really the cat. Sniper also wants to come in the cave. The flash is perfect. Scrub can't see a thing. Now it's a 5v3 post plant. A low percentage chance here for Heroic to try to pull this off. It's a 3v5. They have to kill Viz first. You can't leave him on the flank. These dualies really not hitting their shots. Finally, FNL connects. Dengzo looking for that headshot, and both him and Stom go down, so that just leaves FNL completely alone. Another flash going to be thrown here towards him. He gets caught in the middle of nowhere. 4 health left. He finds another one. If anything, that's another $300 for him, but, well, he had no chance at winning that round. That's going to be 7 for the Northern Lights. Getting a good start here to the second half. Another timeout called here by the Northern Lights. And I do believe this time it's actually more of a, well, it's more strategic than the one they called before their, rather before the first full buy on the CT side. Or rather, full buy versus full buy round. They might have read this force of Heroic Academy perfectly. 2 Deagles, a 5-7, CZ, and an MP9. This can certainly be lethal, especially on a map such as Ancient. You have some CQC angles. Have a lot of them, actually. I mean, the entire B site, except for that angle from ramp to long, is close quarter combat. 2 mollies thrown to clear out cave, and FNL already got a frag with the MP9, and it was on mid. Somehow Zype went down over there. Dengzo fully blinded. The flashes have been perfect from the side of Northern Lights. 2 rounds in a row. The CZ doing a lot of damage. His stomach wants the knife. Luckily, excellent hand. The dual Beretta's out. If he had a Glock, that maybe would have even been a knife kill. But it's a 3v2 in the favor of the Danish Academy roster. It's Excellent and Frank. Excellent, who's been having a phenomenal game, 15-6. Gonna be one of the 2 players here who remain. Nade towards long. Could do a decent chunk of damage. About 15 onto Ember, not that much. But certainly it can make a difference. Excellent. Lines up 2, and it's Frank to find another one. Heroic Academy. Well, they made an impact, but Excellent made a bigger one. 4 kills for Excellent. Once again, it's another 4K for Axel Enholm. And Heroic have been fully reset once again, and it's gonna be a nade stack. You know when a Danish team pulls out the 5 HEs on a full eco round, that it's gonna be fireworks. Both figuratively and literally. But let's see where those... Well, it's not 5 nades. It's okay, it's 4. And a single smoke. Maybe insta-door smoke? No, they didn't throw it. It's gonna be nades landing on top of mid. 1 player gets blown to smithereens. Frank also finds a kill of his own, and they've actually done a bunch of damage on both sides, but it's Frank to pick up a 4K. He's gonna be on for the ace with his Galil. Unfortunately, FNL is on B, so I don't really think Frank is gonna have too much of a chance of getting this ace, and yeah, he's going to clear out the A bomb site. Just in case FNL is over there, but I do think they can kind of read the fact that FNL is over here because they did have a smoke on top ramp. So FNL 5-7 at this range. It can still be lethal, but he really has to hit the first shot. He has the timing onto Viz, but I do think he's been spotted out now, and Viz is just gonna knife out and book it to mid. Gonna be 3 players there from mid. Flash coming out. That's not gonna blind FNL at all. He wants to swing out, and he goes down to Viz. At the end, it's another 4K for a Swedish player, this time for Frank. But it was against an essentially full eco round, but still, hey. It doesn't say that when you look at the stat sheet after the map. Rather, after the match. Finally, we're going to see a full buy on the city side for Heroic Academy. It's not in the hands of Scrob. Everybody else on M4s, and almost full utility for the Danish team. 3 AKs of Galil on the Mac 10 on the side of the Northern Lights. Mollies and nades being dumped. I saw somebody miss an HE. I think Stom missed an HE and it bounced back into the bomb side. Luckily, it didn't land on any of his teammates or himself. Smoke over towards long to cut off Dengzu, who has had a horrible game so far. Nicholas is 3 and 15, and Amber left on 1 HP. Stom is very low, but they're able to get these kills. It's a 3 for 2 in the favor of the Danish team. Molly thrown into cave. Amber has to get the hell out of there. He's on 1 HP. Can't even swap guns with Scrob, who's way too far away for that to happen. Speaking of being far away, FNL flanking all the way through T-spawn. They only have 1 kit. And it's on Amber, but they have a bunch of utility. 2 Molotovs, 2 flashes, and 2 HEs for this retake. They can clear out half the bomb site. They can clear it out fully. Viz in that lane. Smoke, and Frank gets caught in the molly. He gets pushed forward. He wants these kills. He goes 1 for 1, and in the meantime, Viz did get dinked. Scrob with the pistol. Gonna take him out, and luckily, FNL did manage to pick up the kid in time, so it's gonna be a defuse. And round number 7 for Heroic Academy. Luckily for them, they had all that utility bunched up. And they actually were able to clear out Frank, who still was able to find 1. But again, I do think it was on to Amber, who was on literally 1 HP. But the Swedes do have 1 more full buy in them. 4 AKs and an all for Snow. This time a bit more of a heavy A setup for the Northern Lights. Rather a heavy setup towards A at the beginning of the round, a 3-1-1. FNL doing the responsible thing when you're an A anchor. Shoulder peek 15 times, and if you see somebody, Well, drop the molly. The nade just misses. I do think that was a bit of the clip rushing. Oh, that's a horrendous flashbang by FNL. I feel like that should have had a jump somewhere in there. He's still in front of the smoke, and Snow entry fragging with an op through the edge of a smoke. And he somehow gets that kill. I have no idea how FNL didn't get that frag. Dengzo gets pushed back with the Molotov. And through the smoke scrub, oh no. That's unfortunate for Heroic. Northern Lights gonna put their 10th on the board. Not really a chance for Stom and Dengzo if they try to retake this. They really want to save this utility. Helmets and Kevlar, 2 kits, and of course Op and M4, but now it's just an Op. And I don't think Dengzo is gonna be saving this. But it does seem like Viz is giving him respect. He knows he's completely alone here on ramp, so if he goes down, they're not really gonna have a chance to trade onto Dengzo. Viz, I'm not sure if he heard that scope. Dengzo, just happy to be alive, not gonna be chasing that kill at all. That's the 4th round of the second half for the Northern Lights out of the 5 rounds played. And well, that trend I was talking about in the first half, where some teams seem to struggle on the CT side. Well, Heroic Academy have won just a single round out of 5 played here in the second half, and they've been bumped down onto pistols and SMGs once again. Dengzo being a good teammate and giving Scrob his op back. And FNL once again stuck behind the smoke. This time he's actually going to get inside of it. Ooh, I don't think they know FNL is here. Never mind, Frank is just going to gut stuff him with the barrel of the AK. Now Scrob, I think it might be the best course of action here is to save, definitely, for Scrob. The rest of his team can attempt a retake, but I do think that's why he's sticking around. He does have somebody to pick up the op if he goes down. It's a 4v4. Why not attempt it? No, it's a 4v3. It's a 3v3. The trade's going both ways. Viz finding another. And he finally goes down to Scrob. It's a 2 vs 2 now, but both Ember and Scrob are around half HP. 100 health flat between the two of them. They're getting on the bomb. Scrob, the smoke has faded, and that's an easy double kill for Frank. Oh, if that smoke was just a second sooner, they maybe could have even had round number 8 on the board, but it's 11 for the Northern Lights. We're 2 rounds away from taking map number 1 and going over to Heroic's map pick with the map advantage. I do believe this is the last time out for Heroic Academy. And don't forget, all of this has been happening with the Northern Lights having a stand-in instead of Cham. It's Zype. Heroic Academy facing reset, I believe, once again. So if they do end up going down 12-7, it might be the end of the map. Another horrendous piece of utility, although I do believe, I mean, we could brush that off as he wants to break the smoke open. In the meantime, Excellent actually got naded over towards Cave. So if anything, Heroic Academy have found themselves an entry. Frank, stuck in no man's land. Also caught while jumping up towards 7. That's another kill for Heroic Academy to make it a 5v3. And this is really a round you shouldn't be losing, especially now that Storm actually found that kill. Viz making his presence well known with all this noise. Both him and Snow, they can save, they can attempt this. I don't really think either should be a problem for the Northern Lights, no matter what happens. But Viz has good timing, and he's gonna collide. Oh, nearly line up 3 players. Luckily, speaking of 3, Storm is gonna get 3 kills in total in that round. Up to 16, nearly the top fragger alongside Amber, who's on 16, and of course Scrob, who's the actual top fragger with 17, but Dengzo still having a rough map, a 0.3 KD. 6 and 18. Although his positions that I've seen him play have been, you know, difficult ones, so when you're not having a good game already and then you have those tough rolls, both on the T and the CT side, it's going to be very noticeable. If a support player has a bad game, you don't really notice it, because at the end of the day, they're still just dumping utility towards the bomb site and looking to get trades, potentially. So it's understandable there for Dengzo, who has an aggressive angle with the MP9, and speaking of him, he goes 1 for 1, and we do nearly see Stomach get another. He knows there's a player out towards the bomb site. This is a very tricky round. So far for Heroic Academy, they've given up the bomb site, but they still have a bunch of presence towards it. Saipa gonna get a kill through the smoke. And they know where Scrob is, off or 5-7, he's just gonna drop the nade, and he's gonna get a kill post-mortem. Martin Drum, eat your heart out. This isn't COD, this is Counter-Strike, and now Amber's gonna get on the bomb. 2 seconds, 1 second, yeah, Excellent is in another universe. Way too far away to even try to stop that defuse. If anything, Excellent gonna get a consolidation prize of an op. But that's another round for Heroic Academy. It was chaotic all the way through. Frags going both ways on the bomb site, a bunch of utility being dumped, MAC-10s, trading kills with M4s and AKs. But at the end of the day, you only remember who won the round, and that's Heroic Academy. And they've picked up some momentum. They've streaked together 2 rounds. Two in a row is not nearly enough for them to be out in the clear. Luckily, the Swedes are forced to save, mostly. Or better, well, play kinda eco. They have 4 sets of Kevlar, only Snow without a helmet. Everybody else do have those helmets on their heads. And Scrob with a very aggressive angle. Oh, the timing is gonna be horrendous. Oh, this is gonna be some timing shenanigans. Scrob, I don't think he's gonna be turning around, but the good thing is I don't think Viz is gonna be turning around either, and it's gonna be Scrob to get the kill. Unlucky for Viz. That's another 5v4 in the favor of the Danish Academy roster. With the Northern Lions making their presence known over towards B. We might even see another player rotate over here, but I do still think the 2-1-2 setup is perfectly fine for Heroic Academy. Of course, now that I've said it, if they end up getting ran over by these pistols, well, 2 Deagles, a MAC-10 and an AWP, it wasn't that good to begin with. But Dengzo is in such a passive angle, Zaipe is the one who's boosted up. So even if Dengzo swings out, he shouldn't really be going down to that Deagle Snow. Close the donut, 40-something seconds on the clock. Still enough time for Heroic, or rather for the Northern Lights to go anywhere. Snow misses. Scrob has his information. Molly flash combo to deter, and he pushes over towards Scrob, and he's also going to fall back towards the A-bomb site. The crunch is coming in from Amber. He wants to go here towards Red Room, an off angle and a half. They're not going to be clearing this, but the jump across, and will they bait out Amber? Snow gets that frag to make it a 4v4. Dengzo is still up close and personal. Storm gonna be falling back. There's not enough time on the clock. All Storm has to do is stay alive, and he's gonna be getting into this very annoying angle to clear. Not sure if they're gonna even be looking here. Storm with 1, not the second, but he has bought himself enough time. And Heroic Academy are gonna get 10 on the board. And the worst thing is, well, Frank might even go down after time ends. He should really try to go for that off, and, well, they're throwing guns around already. Frank goes down after time runs out. Just 1100 for Frank. In a round that should have been a full buy for the Swedes. And this is Heroic's golden ticket into actually turning this first map all the way around. Frank has a Glock in utility, not even Kevlar. So he's essentially going to be a non-threat throughout this whole round. Frank, who's been having a phenomenal map as well, he's, I believe, the only player with 20 plus. He's on 24 right now. Dengzo, who has picked up the slack a little bit. The flash was a millisecond too late. Dengzo, a phenomenal kill. Will open up the round. Once again, it's Heroic Academy finding that first kill to make it a 5v4. And Storm in a very aggressive position. He's going to fall back from cave, at least to a bit of a further angle. Don't really want to risk too much in a situation like this. You have the man advantage. Yeah, the MP9 can play an angle like this so it's not too big a risk, especially with Amber actually poking a set out. Never mind. I thought it was going to be Amber baiting for his teammate. He does not get the second kill. A phenomenal job done by the Swedes to actually turn the situation around. It's a 3 versus 2. Viz is going to get naded down to 36, but he's still going to be a nuisance over towards long. Excellent. They've given Heroic Academy a gap that they can use to come out through short. And that smoke, well, it's more going to hinder Heroic than anything. I believe it should have landed into Cave. FNL missing another piece of utility. And Scrub goes down to Viz. A phenomenal round by Viz to pick up a 3K. And that's going to be 2 map rounds in a row for the Northern Lights. Heroic Academy not going to have much money here. It's just going to be a single M4 for Dengzo, who has either dropped it. Yeah, he's dropped it over to Amber. Amber, who's been having a good map all throughout Ancient, both on the T and CT side. Could we potentially be looking at the last round here on Ancient? The Northern Lights have a complete full buy. They still have more utility than Heroic Academy had at the start of the round. Smoke thrown into Red Room to cut off Scrub. And Heroic Academy are really going to have to pull off a wonder here for this round to go their way. But we have seen Storm with the CZ already pull off a single double kill over towards the B bomb site. And now with utility actually running out for the Northern Lights, they have just 2 flashes. And they already threw 2 smokes over towards B. They're going to be fading, but the Amber does get the kill on the Frank, so that was the man advantage. It was very short-lived. Zype immediately got the trade. Storm, can he get this gun? He is going to pick up the MP9. And he's going to get into the perfect angle for it if they do decide to commit through B ramp. This is going to be a slaughter for the Northern Lights. Flash thrown, everybody blind, but Storm just uses it to gather info. With the MP9, 1 and not the second. A 3v3 now, Amber off angle. Now he has to fall back. They're going to be trading him out soon, and he does get away. Man advantage for the side of Heroic Academy. It's Zype and Snow, and look at how aggressive Coach Zype is. He finds the kill onto Scrub. Amber goes down to the op as well, and now it's just FNL on the flank. MP9, 15 seconds on the clock. It's the coach against FNL. Zype has an AK. He has enough time to get the bomb and potentially plant it behind the bomb site. FNL wants to go forward. It's the fake tap. Zype. He gets read like a book, but Zype still has enough time to plant it. That's exactly what's going to happen. FNL is now put on a 35-second timer. His 5 seconds have already passed. FNL, he knows where Zype is. Zype on the other side, and the coach is going to end it. 13-10. Zype to end it off for the Northern Lights. I do believe he actually got a triple kill, maybe even a 4K. There to end the round off. A phenomenal map by the 35-year-old coach of the Northern Lights. That was very well played by the Swedes, having a stand-in come in and actually playing phenomenal Counter-Strike, both as a team and as individuals. Gonna lead to them having a 1-0 lead on their own map pick. 13-10. It did look like Heroic were gonna pick up momentum and, well, get this map back underway for themselves, but that did not happen. Coach Zype did not allow it. We're gonna be going to map number 2, which is gonna be the pick of Heroic, which is also gonna be Nuke, and we're gonna be back in about 10 to 15 minutes, and you guys stay right with us.